We have 3 matches to look forward to. Nigeria's Super Eagles open their campaign against Equatorial Guinea in the second match of Group A, also at the Stade Alassane Ouattara in Abidjan. 7-time winners Egypt kickstart Group B's action against Mozambique, for Ghana's Black Stars take on Cape Verde, also in Group B. Well, earlier I spoke with Ghanaian sports journalist and football expert Owuraku Ampofo from Accra on the run-up to kick-off later tonight. I began by asking him if, after all the delays and mounting anticipation, this was a watershed moment for African football.
I think it's a really good moment to look forward to, especially if you do have African football at heart and you do have interest in the competition. It's been a long time coming, as you rightly stated. It should have been last year during the June-July belt, but Ivory Coast was really flooded, especially Abidjan in that period. And so CAF had to take the decision to move it to January, which has had some resistance from European leagues, especially because their club football is still ongoing. But the competition still goes on. And the thing about the AFCON is that it's really unpredictable. You're looking at a tournament that no team has defended their title in the last 14 years. And then if you want to go as far back as 1982, since that time, we've had just about 5 hosts winning the 19 possible editions. And so no one really knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of shocks, there's a lot of upsets, and that's what makes it one of the most incredible tournaments to look forward to.
Right, and mentioning the governing body there, they've increased the prize money, attracted more commercial sponsors, as well as expanding television rights, while also announcing a significant increase in commercial revenues. How would you say, how much has Patrice Motsepe, as the CAF president, changed the fortunes of the federation these past few years?
I think in the past few years, African football has been growing from strength to strength, and I think this edition of the African Nations Cup is a testament of how far football has come on the continent. It is really the face of the continent. If you're talking about football, it's the biggest competition on the continent. And if you're looking at the fact that just this year alone, CAF has received a record number of accreditation members from journalists, has also received a record number of television rights, and most importantly, the prize money has jumped by 40%. So whoever wins it now gets 7 million. I think all of these factors just highlight the fact that there's been a rapid growth and interest in the sport. And the good thing is that once all of these numbers that I mentioned keep increasing, then we would have more eyeballs, we would have more people being interested in African football. And per what we've seen in the last few years, I wouldn't be surprised that it keeps on growing exponentially in the next few years. And I think that's a great thing for African football, given how far the sport has come on the continent.
Right, and Owuraku, let's talk about your nation, since you're Ghanaian. Obviously, thousands of Ghanaians will have and will continue to cross the border into Cote d'Ivoire to support the Black Stars. How do you see this playing out for that team? Well,
the thing about the Black Stars is that, especially with the people going for tournament, the first thing is that you have to really enjoy the moment. And you look at this tournament in particular as Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, we share a border with them. We refer to them as our neighbors. So we have similar culture, similar local dialect, and similar food. So it's a good opportunity to explore, to have fun. And then there's also the aspect of the football where we do have the national team. The country has been a bit patient. It's been about 42 years since the Black Stars won the Africa Cup of Nations. There's been close moments and there's been really awful ones, like the last Africa Cup of Nations where the team got knocked out at the group stages. I think the overall expectation is for the team to do better than they did last time. Last time was a disaster. I think anything beyond the group stages should be decent enough. But this team has a way of always defying the odds. If you look at in 2010, where we went with a really young squad, the team went all the way to the final only to lose to Egypt. And so that is the hidden hope that people do have. But I think the real expectation is that they will do better than what they did in Cameroon last time.
Right, and finally, we're almost out of time here. We do this every show and ask all our guests this. I'm going to put you on the spot, Owuraku. Name your 4 teams that you think will go all the way to the semi-finals at this year's AFCON.
Mane said this would be the strongest ever with regards to how competitive it would be. And I do agree with him. I've been taking a look at the tournament tree, and I think my 4 would be Cameroon. I think they are the team that has the most grit, and they do need that if you want to go deep in the AFCON. And then there's Egypt. Egypt came close last time. I think they have a better coach now. Salah is motivated, and so they would also be there. Ivory Coast, host nation, they've not been too impressive in recent times. That's for host nations. But I think Ivory Coast do have a well-balanced squad and should make the semi-finals at least. And then the last one is where was my surprise. I would go with Tunisia, which means that essentially defending champions Senegal don't make their semi-finals.